Hey everyone, welcome back to Senior Living News with Corpus, the stories shaping the future of aging. This is your weekly edition for the week of August 17, 2026. I'm Dale Corpus, your Bay Area Senior Transition Strategist, Senior Focused Real Estate Expert, and Reverse Mortgage Advisor, helping families figure out how to pay for senior care, especially when a home is involved. Each week, I break down the biggest stories shaping the future of aging, helping families and professionals make sense of the trends, research, and innovations changing how we grow older. This isn't just about reporting the headlines, it's about understanding what these stories mean to you, your family, and where the future of aging is headed. This week's theme is this: the future of aging isn't just about living longer, it's about living smarter, staying connected, and remaining as independent as possible. Today, we're talking about why AARP says we need to rethink aging, how AI and robotic companions are helping reduce loneliness, one family's creative solution for caring for 3 aging parents, a policy proposal that could make medical cannabis more accessible, a breakthrough that may help detect Alzheimer's disease much earlier, and a surprisingly simple predictor of longevity that has nothing to do with supplements or biohacking. Let's jump in. Let's start with a story that really sets the tone for this week's episode. The CEO of AARP recently said something I think all of us should pay attention to. She believes it's time to change the way we think about aging. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. For decades, aging has often been viewed through the lens of decline, losing independence, losing mobility, losing memory, losing purpose, but today's reality looks very different. People are living longer than previous generations. Many older adults continue working, volunteering, starting businesses, traveling, learning new skills, and contributing in meaningful ways well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. That's a completely different picture than the one many of us grew up with. Here's what stood out to me. Changing how we think about aging doesn't mean pretending challenges don't exist. It means recognizing that aging is incredibly diverse. Some people need significant support, others remain remarkably active, most fall somewhere in between. The future of aging isn't about defining people by their age, it's about creating more opportunity for people to thrive at every stage of life. And I think that's exactly the mindset we need moving forward. Next up, artificial intelligence continues making headlines. But this week's story wasn't about replacing caregivers. It wasn't about robots taking over healthcare. Instead, it was about companionship. In New York, older adults are beginning to use AI-powered robotic companions designed to help loneliness and encourage engagement. Some remind people to take medications, some encourage conversations, some help connect older adults with family members, others simply provide interaction during the day. Now, can a robot replace a spouse? Of course not. Can it replace family? Absolutely not. Can it replace meaningful friendships? No, but that's not really the goal. The goal is to reduce isolation between human interactions, and that's an important distinction. Loneliness has become one of the biggest public health concerns affecting older adults. We know that social isolation is associated with poorer physical health, poorer mental health, and lower quality of life. If thoughtful design technology can help bridge some of those gaps, that's worth paying attention to. Here's what I think. Technology should never replace human connection, but it absolutely can help strengthen it. That's the kind of innovation I believe we'll continue seeing over the next decade. So this next story really resonated with me. One family decided to move their 3 aging parents into 2 tiny homes built in their backyard. The project cost around $100,000, and according to the family, it completely changed their caregiving experience. Now, I'm not suggesting this solution is right for everyone. Every family's finances, property, local zoning, and caregiving needs are different. But what I love about this story is the creativity. Instead of asking, what facility should we move mom into? They asked, how can we redesign our lives to make caregiving possible? And that's a completely different question. Sometimes asking a different question leads to a completely different solution. Here's why I think this matters. As housing costs continue rising, families are exploring more flexible options than ever before. Accessory dwelling units, tiny homes, multi-generational living, shared housing, and creative home modifications are all becoming part of the conversation. As someone who helps families navigate senior transitions, I've learned there's rarely one perfect answer. The best solution is the one that balances safety, finances, care needs, and family dynamics. And for this family, tiny homes turned out to be exactly that. Our next story comes out of Georgia. Lawmakers are considering allowing medical marijuana to be mailed directly to qualified patients. Now, this isn't really a cannabis story, at least not the way I look at it. To me, it's an access story. For many older adults, especially those with mobility challenges, transportation can become one of the biggest barriers to healthcare. Whether it's medications, doctor appointments, or therapies, simply getting there isn't always easy. If policies like this make physician-approved treatments easier to access, I think it's a conversation worth following. Of course, medical cannabis isn't appropriate for everyone, and decisions like these should always involve a healthcare provider. But here's what I find interesting. We're beginning to see medical cannabis discussed less as a political issue and more as part of the broader healthcare conversation. That's a significant shift, and I think we'll continue seeing more research, more policy discussions, and more evidence-based conversations over the coming years. Now it's time for this week's Innovation Spotlight of the Week. One of the most promising stories this week comes from Alzheimer's research. Scientists now believe signs of Alzheimer's disease may be detectable much earlier than researchers previously thought. That's a big deal, because one of the greatest challenges with Alzheimer's has always been timing. By the time memory loss becomes obvious, changes inside the brain may have already been developing for years or even decades. Researchers hope that identifying the disease earlier could eventually lead to earlier interventions, more personalized treatments, and hopefully better long-term outcomes. Now, we're not talking about a cure, and this research doesn't immediately change clinical practice, but it's another important step forward. Here's what stood out to me. Every major medical breakthrough begins with better understanding, earlier detection, better diagnostics, more targeted therapies. Those are exactly the kinds of innovations that have the potential to change millions of lives over time. That's why I think this story is worth watching. Moving on, now, here's your tip of the week. Whenever you're reading about the latest breakthrough in aging, whether it's AI, medical cannabis, brain health, or longevity, ask yourself one simple question. Does this help someone live more independently, or does it simply help them live longer? Because there's a difference. The future of aging isn't just about adding years to life, it's about adding life to those years. And that's where I believe the most meaningful innovations are happening. And to close this up, let's just wrap up with this week's Future of Aging. When people think about longevity, they think about supplements, biohacking, expensive testing, or the latest anti-aging trend. But according to new reporting this week, one of the strongest predictors of longevity may actually be something much simpler: balance. Researchers continue finding that balance is closely connected to overall health, mobility, fall risk, muscle strength, and ultimately independence. Think about that for a moment. Standing on one leg, maintaining stability, preventing falls, those aren't flashy, they're not expensive, but they may tell us a tremendous amount about healthy aging. Here's what really struck me. Almost every story we covered today points toward the same conclusion. Healthy aging isn't built on one miracle breakthrough. It's built on dozens of small decisions: staying physically active, maintaining social connections, planning ahead, using technology wisely, supporting caregivers, continuing to learn, and taking care of both our bodies and our brains. That's what I think the future of aging really looks like. Not one revolutionary discovery, but lots of meaningful improvements working together. And that's your Senior Living News with Joe Corpus, the story shaping the future of aging for the week of August 17, 2026. If today's episode had one overarching message, I think it's this: the future of aging isn't something that's going to happen to us someday, it's already happening. It's happening through new research, new technology, creative housing solutions, earlier disease detection, and a growing recognition that aging isn't simply about adding more years. It's about helping people remain independent, connected, healthy, and engaged for as long as possible. That's why I believe these stories matter. They're not just headlines, they're helping shape the future that many of us and the people we love will experience. If you're helping an aging parent, planning for your own future, working in senior care, or simply curious about where the aging ecosystem is headed, I hope you'll join me each week as we continue exploring the stories shaping the future of aging. If you're looking for practical resources to help navigate senior care, housing decisions, or how to pay for care, especially when a home is involved, visit simplifyseniortransitions.com/start here You'll find tools, educational resources, and a roadmap to help you make informed decisions before a crisis happens. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who would benefit from it. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I'm Dale Corpus, and I'll see you next week for another edition of Senior Living News with Dale Corpus, the stories shaping the future of aging.